Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unanswered Questions. Sometimes during our live broadcast to schools, we don't get enough time to answer all the amazing questions from students. So every month, we take the top upvoted ones and we answer them here.
Yeah, it's pretty tough when you have 15 to 20 minutes and you have over 200 questions come in, right? So,
from one school.
From one school. Right? Which is awesome, right? Like we never got that many questions when we were doing in-person presentations, right? Because people were afraid of peer embarrassment. But this virtual thing that we're doing now, it's phenomenal, the questions that we get. So let's get after them.
So what were the top questions we didn't get to for January? Okay, so first question. What should you do if someone sends you an intimate image and then pressures you into sending something back?
Go for it, dude.
Well, number one, context is going to be important here, but generally, rando strangers on the internet, block, remove, delete, like, stop talking to me, get rid of me, like, just go away. And then if they're pressuring you to send something back, in the situation, depending on your age and who that person is, you're going to want to probably report it, make a copy of it, show it to someone in your family, ask for help, even possibly local police as well. But generally, your first step is going to be, block it, remove it, delete it, especially if it's just a rando and you just get a random picture out of nowhere, right? If it's someone who has been over the last little bit consistently trying to, we'd call it grooming. Yeah, grooming. That's definitely a situation now where you're going to want to, record it and report it. Because yes, randos do send random messages to random people. That's not really the biggest threat. It's a problem, but the bigger threat is the person who's slowly, again, doing that grooming process.
Yeah, and just know that by reporting it, you're not going to get yourself into trouble, right? Like there's some teens that are concerned that if they report this, then they're going to get in trouble with their parents, the police, the teachers. No, you're not, right? In fact, I would suggest to you that most teachers, principals, law enforcement are going to be very thankful that if this person is persistent in doing this kind of stuff, then make sure you bring it to their attention. A lot of times what they're doing is illegal, right? And can be dealt with here in Canada.
What is your biggest concern when it comes to online safety?
That's an interesting one, Brandon, because for me, it's changing, right? Like, a year and a half and before that, and earlier than that. So pre-2025, right? Pre-2025. The biggest concern was all about privacy, security, those types of issues, but today, AI is changing the equation, right? With respect to some of the challenge that we're now facing surrounding things like deep fakes, people now using AI weaponizing it for the purposes of digital peer aggression, i.e. cyberbullying. So that's becoming a concern, in these chat bots and companionship app issues and some of the issues surrounding there. So, we still think that privacy, safety, security, those are all still important topics that we talk about, and you really cover those off at the younger grades, right?
Yes.
But I think at the higher level grades now, like when I say higher grades, I mean like 8 to 12, a lot of them, thank goodness, today have a pretty good grounding now over the past several years from digital literacy and internet safety side of things. But I now think we need to start focusing more on the AI side of issues and some of the strengths and challenges surrounding AI.
That's fair. Yeah. And again, still just bad actors. They're just bad people on the internet. Yeah. Some use AI and even some don't.
And some of those bad actors are actually peers. Right?
Can be.
Yeah.
Why do so many teens feel pressured to share things online, and how can we protect ourselves and our friends when this happens?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, there is a social pressure, of course. Yeah. Any social environment, there's going to be pressure, going to be norms, but, there is so many people who exist physically in your world, but also online, that you don't necessarily have to stick with a friend group who might be pressuring you. There is someone for you. There is a friend group for you. Yes, it might take a little bit of work to find that group that is appropriate and respectful of your boundaries, but that's the power of the internet is you're not limited to the people in your local school or community. You can find the people who match with you more effectively.
Yeah, find your find your group, right? Find your pack that has the same ethics and morals as you do. Right?
Exactly.
Like, and that's easy to do, especially in today's world where you can create specific groups that only contain people who you know, love, and trust, right?
Yep.
And have the same morals and ethics as you do, which is really important.
You don't have to be friends with everybody.
No.
Yeah, you should be amicable. You should be, polite, but you don't have to be a friend with everyone.
Yeah.
I do think schools sometimes don't realize that when they try to get every student to technically be a friend with each other. It's like, you can be polite, but no.
Yeah, there's a difference between being polite and being a friend, right?
Exactly. And I think a lot of schools are forcing younger kids to be, you got to be a friend with them. No, you've got to be polite.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Some people aren't going to like that, but that's just the truth, right? Like, so surround yourself with like-minded people, right? Is what's really important.
If you sent a photo and later regret it, and it affects a scholarship or job opportunity, what options do you have?
Well, I mean, we talk about this in the leveraging program, right? And that's probably where this came up from, was one of our leveraging programs. If you posted it, you can delete it. Right. And, we can, and if you can't delete it, you can bury it. Right. And those are things that we talk about to make it a little harder to find. So, I mean, this is one of the reasons why we always say, before you hit that send button, pause and really think about, how is this, although this is funny today, what about a couple of years from now? And that's the challenge, is that a lot of young people, the way their brains work, they live their here and now. You're not thinking about the future, right? And then all of a sudden the future's here before you know it, and you're looking back on what you've done online. You're going, ooh, holy moly. And so as a result of that, if you posted it, you can delete it. And also know that, people like Google now allow you, once you turn the age of 18, to go in there and de-index anything that may have been on there about you.
Yeah, and most people, like scholarship folks and whatnot, they're not necessarily super high skilled investigators, where they're going to pull up caches and archives. Is it possible? Again, you can't guarantee anything, but there are things you can do to minimize that negative outcome.
Yeah, and if those pictures and videos are in a private locked account, well then most scholarship committees and employers don't have access to that. Where they would have access if all of a sudden a frenemy took a screenshot of that picture or video and then posted it publicly. But this is this is another reason why keeping your social media platforms locked down is important, right?
What should I do if my friends are using AI tools to cheat on homework?
Yeah.
I guess it depends what you classify as cheating, because using AI just by itself does not necessarily mean you are cheating. No. However, if AI is just doing all the work for you and you have not put any input and you're not learning anything from it, well then, you are cheating.
I mean, a really good example of a cheat is, we show this one video of some teens that was trending on TikTok last year, where there's this pen that you can buy off of Amazon right now for like $65. It looks like a pen, looks like a highlighter, but it is actually a scanner. So they show in an exam, multiple choice exam that they were given at school, they pulled this thing out of their pocket. They were scanning the question. It connects to ChatGPT and OpenAI. With a click of a button, it figures out the answer, and then you just circle the right. That's classic cheating, right? Like, I think what they're maybe talking about here is using AI to plagiarize, kind of like you say, right? Where you're given a book report to do or a topic to write, and rather than using your own brain power to write it, you just go into ChatGPT and go, hey, ChatGPT, can you create a book report on Catcher in the Rye, make it look like it's written by a grade 10 student, add some misspells in there so that it doesn't look like it was written by AI, hit. And then within seconds, it spits it out, right? That's not using AI. That's kind of cheating yourself. I mean, one of the things we say to students is that you don't want AI to do all the heavy lifting for you, right? You want it to be there kind of like an editor, right? Where you create the product and then you use AI to kind of edit the product, right? Yep. So you're using the brain power, you're working with the tool, you're not having the tool work for you. Yep. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do you do if they're technically actually cheating? Yeah, you could present that to a teacher, an educator, to go, hey, I think this entire work is AI generated, so you might want to double check.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to, because I know that there are parents and teachers that sometimes watch us as well. Just be very careful about these AI checkers, right? That are on the market now saying like, we can scan a document to let you know that it was AI generated.
No.
There's lots of really good evidence-based research to show that there's just too many false positives with that.
If you're an educator and you're using an AI checker and a student asks you to show your work, you should probably be able to show your work. If not, then a student shouldn't have to show you how to do long form division, right? Show your work. That's a big part of education. But yet educators not showing their work, which these AI checkers don't do that. It's all their proprietary, secret, closed source tool. Like, no, you have to show your work. Why? And, even people have demonstrated uploading religious texts that were published years ago, millennia ago, and somehow identified as being AI generated. Because that's what it was trained on.
Or the big one, I just saw another one where this person's reading a book from a scholar that was written 15 years ago, and they were using the what's it called, that little dash.
The M dash.
The M dash.
Oh, AI has ruined the M dash for professional writers.
So the academic goes, well, I guess this writer 15 years ago was using AI because they were using the M dash, right? No, they weren't. That's just, it's actually a part of, but you're right. I mean, AI has ruined the use of the M dash in today's literature.
I know. There are professional writers who are super angry because they really like the M dash.
For sure.
It is a proper, legitimate, it's.
But if you use it, it's AI, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, do you use a green screen for your videos or presentations? We mix. So like this background is an actual physical background. It's an actual set. Proof. There we go. But we do have a 200 square foot green screen down over there. So we often will mix and match different settings.
Yeah, like for me at the beginning of all my presentations, I start at the green screen set and then I move up here to the set number 2, or we call this set number 1.
Yeah.
For you, you're so literate that you flow between the two sets, right?
I like having fun with the green screen. But yes, it depends on the presentation. But yeah, we use, we do.
Yeah.
Is OmeTV a risky platform for teens? Well, any platform is risky depending on how you use it. I would say OmeTV does not have the robust features that I would expect in like a mainstream popular social network to really have you craft a more appropriate or safer experience. I don't like.
What are you trying to say?
I don't like labeling like this app is bad or this app is good. However, different apps have different features where you can craft the experience you want to have. And I don't think OmeTV has those features like YouTube does or TikTok does.
Are you kind of saying that this is kind of like Omegle-ish?
Yeah, in a way, yes. In a way. But again, I've seen cool things on every kind of platform. But I would say, sure, maybe there are people why is someone going to an app that is not a mainstream, popular, well-supported app? Like that itself is a question. So is it risky? Yeah. It can be. And yes, we have seen more issues there than other platforms, but do with that information what you will. I don't like labeling this app as bad or good. Hey, why do you teach people how to find someone's address on the internet?
Oh, well, why did you teach us people can find your address? Well, let me give a good example. We helped a teen girl who was doing something online thinking that it was anonymous and nobody would know it was her. And all of a sudden, a couple days later, a person come knocking on her door because they were able to track her online because she didn't take proper precautions to protect herself. And the person knocking on the door was somewhat of a predator.
Yeah. And this is probably a question from one of the presentations I do where I actually take someone's public photo and then I basically geolocate it using open source intelligence going, okay, here's the sun, here's the color of the driveway, Google Maps, zoom in. And it's why do we do that? To show you how easy it is. You know, a lot of people, they're pretty good at not publicly sharing where they live and where they go to school. But what's in the background of your pictures and videos where you have your home address or the school name or you're wearing a hoodie with your school name on it? You know, it's those little details that are often in the background that can get people in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, when I present I do share with folks that I do play D&D and question.
You dine and dash?
No, not that.
That's illegal.
No. What is your Dungeons and Dragons
Exactly.
class?
Exactly.
Typically, I'm a forever DM, but if I am a player, it's usually a warlock class, usually multi-class into something else. Next question.
Warlock class.
I like the warlock class.
Cast a spell.
The warlock is flexible. That's what I like about it.
All right.
What can someone do if their friend is struggling with an addiction?
Be there as a friend, right? Just be there as a friend. You know, the other thing that we say to teens is sometimes there's only so much a teen can do to help. And if you've gotten to the point where you've tried everything and it's still not helping, and your friend is going down this path that is going to have significant emotional, psychological, physical consequences, then sometimes you have to reach out to an adult for help. And just understand that by doing that, you're doing the right thing. Now, your friend may be mad that you did that at the beginning, but once your friend gets themselves into a better place, trust me when I say they're going to come back and say thank you. Because when they're in that state, they're not necessarily thinking rationally, and they need to depend upon friends who are. Mm-hmm. And so and we've had several cases where this has happened, where teens finally in the end took our recommendation saying, you know, you've tried everything you possibly could. It didn't work. You needed to get a hold of an adult. Adult got involved and helped. Teen friend was really mad at the beginning, like, you broke our friendship and all that kind of stuff. But then later on, when they got themselves into a better place, they came back to that same friend and said, you know what, I was really mad at you at the time, but I just need to thank you now because now I understand why you did it. And I needed that help when I didn't think I did.
Yep. So. Yep. Can people be hacked through video games, or does hacking usually target social accounts? Typically, video games are used as the content delivery network, in that it's not like someone's going to hack your computer through your game. Usually in a game, they might send you a message that will trick you to go somewhere where then you might download something inappropriate. Now, where games can hack you, if someone is trying to, say, pirate a game, so they go to some random website where some rando person is offering a free version of a game for free without paying anything, you download it, and in the game has a virus in it. That's where we usually see being hacked by video games usually pop up. But typically, a hacker or scammer will message you in the game to then scam you or hack you elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And same with social media. Even social media, it's most hackers and scammers, they message you on that platform to then hack you or scam you.
And that's kind of the next question when they said, how can I better protect my TikTok account from being hacked, right? Like, if, you know, one of the things I've learned from you is the most important thing you got to protect is, number one, your email address. And number two, your password, right? So, you know, I think a lot of people whose accounts get taken over, they get taken over because you didn't protect yourself, you didn't protect your email, and the password you used was so simple, it was easy to be hacked. Right?
Yeah, make your password hard to guess. Make sure it's unique. Don't use the password anywhere else. Mm-hmm. Don't log in via TikTok on anywhere else besides the proper official app. A lot of hackers will make fake looking web pages that look like the TikTok login page. And that's how they get you. I mean, if you get a message or an email saying, hey, there's an issue with your account, click this link. Don't click the link. Open the app on your phone. If there's an issue, it will tell you when you open the proper official app. Don't log in from links people send you.
That's just an excellent point, right? And one that I knew about, but I never really thought about. And that's a really good point. That's something that I think we should emphasize that, right? Yeah.
Yep. I'm starting to more at younger grades.
Yeah.
So they start off with a really good habit.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, what rules exist around sexual content on apps like TikTok?
Well, I think that depends upon your definition of sexual content, right? Because it's all about context.
Yeah. Every app is going to have its own rules and guidelines on that subject. And I do know TikTok is technically, officially more strict on that kind of content.
Well, we'll see.
However,
new owners.
True. However, the thing about trying to police social interactions and social speech It's that you just relabel something, or you algo speak, or you...
What's algo speak?
Algo speak is using terms like, say, unalive on social media because the alternative word might be flagged and banned. So you just take a word and then you just relabel it as something else.
Yeah, it's kind of like you constantly, whenever we're doing our YouTube lives, you're constantly nudging me going, can't say that, right? Like I can't say Pornhub, I have to say Cornhub, right? Like that's aglo speak, right?
Yeah. So, and social platforms like TikTok are a little more struggling because what, you're going to ban the word corn? Yeah. What if you're a farmer and you farm corn, right? Yeah. Like you can't, you take an innocent word and then you relabel it contextually as something else. So it can't be banned.
Yeah. So again, it comes down to context. Is the sexual content of somebody under the age of 18? So it would be considered child sexual abuse material is a good example, right? So again, context is everything, not so much content. Right? So.
Yeah. And every platform will have different rules on the matter. So read the terms of service, read the community guidelines on the app you are using. I do know TikTok is technically more strict, but people find workarounds because you can't really police social speech very well. Why do sentences, convictions for people who are found guilty of crimes involving kids sometimes seem short?
Well, I would actually suggest to you that people who are convicted of crimes against children, their sentences are actually statistically greater than those on adults, right? Adult on adult.
I think some people think if someone's arrested or thrown into jail that they're in jail forever. It depends on the country you're in.
Yeah, no.
Like here in Canada, life in like a life sentence is
25 years.
25 years. That is a life sentence. People often think, oh, that's for until you die.
That's the U.S.
Yeah, that's
depending upon where you are in the U.S. Right?
Yeah, different countries, different states. But yeah, a life sentence in Canada is 25 years. Yeah. So for some people, that actually might seem pretty short.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it's that anchoring number that people sometimes think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's long in comparison to all the other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it safe or appropriate to interact with Snapchat's AI chatbot?
Yeah, it's called My AI on Snapchat. It's been around now since 2023. Again, it depends upon context and how you're using it, right? Like that's what it all comes down to. If you're using Snapchat's AI to be a companionship app, like a digital boyfriend, digital girlfriend, not so much. If you're talking to it from a mental health issue, using it as a counselor, not so much. But if you're using it for the purposes of learning stuff, okay, well, again, context and how you're using it is what is important.
Yeah, fair enough. What social media platforms are most commonly used in crime? Whichever one's more popular right now today.
Well, I guess it depends upon who the criminal is, right? Like if I'm an individual who wants to prey upon youth for online predation and exploitation, any social media platform that is popular with kids, be it a streaming platform, be it a gaming platform, be it a social media platform, are going to attract those who want to prey upon our kids for sexual predation and exploitation.
In the early 2000s, MySpace and Facebook were the ones where all the predators are. Right. Now, of course, we could see Discord, Roblox, right? Yeah. But it's not because those apps are inherently less or more safe. It's just that's where the population is. Yeah, that's right. That's all. It's just a numbers game.
Yeah, and I expect that this is going to change even more because of the number of countries that are now switching or are now implementing the age gate of 16 that are preventing youth from creating accounts on places like Snapchat, Discord, all that kind of stuff. What you're going to see happen is you're going to see kids migrating to other platforms that aren't covered under that legislation, which now means the
servers in countries outside of their
which now means that the predators are going to move to those platforms, right? So
yeah, age bans might actually have the opposite effect of what they want, while also suppressing political speech of kids and teens. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, all for votes. Why?
Don't get us started.
Why does it feel sometimes like Roblox doesn't respond effectively to reports? Well, it's a numbers game. Roblox only has a certain number of staff, And if there are a lot of reports, it's a numbers game. Yes, from our understanding, Roblox does prioritize. They triage like in hospitals, you know, whatever the most serious offense is gets looked at first. But it depends what the report is. If the report is someone said something mean to me, someone hacked my account, honestly, you may not get support.
Yeah.
If it's a serious, really bad crime, well, then that's more likely going to be investigated.
Right.
It's a numbers game. It's just like every police report. Not every police report gets responded to effectively.
Yep.
Like that's just the world.
Yeah.
I do think AI might potentially start helping here.
Well, they're all using it right now in an attempt to do that. But I still think there are going to be times where you're going to need human oversight, right?
Yep.
Because AI makes mistakes sometimes.
It's true. So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why Roblox. I mean, Roblox has an entire safety team. Some games and apps don't have that. Roblox is most popular, so it gets a lot more.
Yeah, it's under heavy attack right now by issues going on there with regards to the predation exploitation issues, right?
But the same issues will happen if everyone moves to a new game or app.
Exactly.
I mean, Minecraft used to be the big problem.
You know, another thing that keeps crossing my mind is, you know, there's lots of push, and don't get me wrong, predation exploitation online is a big deal, right? It's something that we need to be aware of. But if you truly want to look at those youth who are targeted for predation exploitation, usually by somebody who they either know, love, or trust in the real world, usually a family member. So why are we not shining a light on that, which is far greater than the likelihood of what's going on online, right? Like, again, perspective is everything. I get it that, you know, kids are online, and because of that, these individuals are hunting our kids online. But when it comes to the actual predation exploitation, usually by somebody who they either know, love, or trust, usually in the real world, and usually within the home itself.
Mm-hmm. Could bad situations happen on apps like Messenger Kids?
Yeah.
Yes, they can. Generally a lot less, because typically with Messenger Kids, a platform designed for parents and caregivers to have oversight and see what their kids are talking about. However, of course, a parent has to take the initiative and actually do that monitoring. And yes, Messenger Kids does have more filters in place, but that doesn't mean it's exempt for bad things.
It's like we always say. I mean, the simple rule is this: no matter what platform, no matter what the privacy settings, no matter what the design, just understand that as soon as you hit that send button, what you've posted can become public, permanent, searchable, exploitable, copyable, shareable, and weaponized.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, kids-safe apps, they usually struggle with, you know, algo speak, using terms like corn. Yeah. Like, are you talking about, you know,
or sewer side?
Exactly. Right? So yes, you can ban keywords, but it's challenging. What should you do if your personal information is being shared online without your consent?
Nothing. Again, context is everything, but nothing illegal about that, right?
It depends on how the information was obtained. Did someone hack you and then leak your stuff? Well, then it's the hack that's illegal. Right. So yes, they could face consequences. Now, once they put something about you on the internet, once it's there, there are some things you can do to kind of get it down.
I think it's commonly known as doxing, right?
Yeah, doxing. Like, people use that term to mean so many different things.
I mean, just finding about as much information as they can about you and then posting it publicly online, right? That's really,
if the information is accurate, right? You're not spreading lies, because there are laws about spreading lies. So it depends. You can bury it by flooding social media with the things you want to showcase. Yeah. So it becomes number one on the search result. And sometimes you can begin to delete things, but no guarantee. In your opinion, what is the appropriate age for someone to have their first phone?
No such thing. We don't teach age, we teach maturity and ability level, right? Like, it's, I mean, a really good example. I know some 13-year-olds who have the maturity level of a 19-year-old. I know some 19-year-olds who have the maturity level of a 12-year-old. So it's not about age, it's about ability, maturity, you know, those types of issues. And that's going to change from youth to teen, and from family to family, right? So
yeah. Also depends. Is it a phone that's more of a minimalist phone?
Yeah, that's
Because
a
you
good
can
point.
get phones that you can't put things like Snapchat and Discord on.
Correct.
Where they just have the basic phone functions.
Yeah.
Well, I think for that purpose, you can probably do a bit younger.
Or a watch, right? A
Yeah.
smartwatch. Right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But yeah, that's a good point, right? Like the pinwheel phone or the Sunbeam phone. But for the full function Ferraris, like the iPhones and the fully functioning Android phone, again, it's not so much about age. It's about maturity, making decision making, those types of issues, right?
If someone has a spicy image of themselves but never shares it with anybody else, is that illegal in some places?
Yeah,
Yes.
Mostly in the U.S., not so much here in Canada.
North America, yeah, it depends in the U.S. Depends on what state you live in. Yeah, in some states, if you take your own spicy picture and you never share it with anyone else, and it's just for you, sometimes that is protected.
Yeah.
Other times, that is a felony offense.
Yeah.
At least here in our country of Canada, no, that is protected. You don't get arrested for your own private spicy pictures.
And this is another reason why it's important that teens hear that, because one of the reasons they will not go forward to let police know if that spicy picture all of a sudden is, let's say they have it on their phone, they haven't shared it with anybody else, but then all of a sudden they lend their phone to their friend. Their friend starts going through their photo album because the teen didn't lock down the picture, sees the nude picture, sends it to themselves and starts sending it to other people. Some of those teens who were victims of this will not come forward to the police because they're afraid that if they do, they're going to get arrested for child sexual abuse material. And that just isn't true in Canada.
Yeah.
Right, in Canada. So.
Yeah. Why do some governments struggle to stop the distribution of child sexual abuse material?
Because it depends upon where it's being hosted, right? Like, I mean, a good example, if it's hosted in a non-NATO country like Russia is a good example, or in some of the other type of countries, like there's no impetus for them to do anything about it. And they're probably getting kickbacks from these companies that are selling and posting that stuff. Another issue is there's just so much of it. And, it's all about finding it, hashing it, and getting rid of it. But if you have a picture, all you have to do is change one of the pixels on that picture of the video, and all of a sudden it's a different hash. And now when you mix in the issue surrounding AI-generated CSAM, which is flooding right now online, these are all issues. So governments are struggling to keep up.
Yep. The only solution I can think of is firewalling your country. Like it works in China, it works in other places, but again, in a democratic nation, people are very hesitant to go down that route.
Yeah.
So not all governments play well with each other, especially in 2026.
Especially countries that were supposed to be friends of ours.
Oof.
Anyways.
A former friend has an embarrassing, non-spicy photo of me and refuses to delete it. What can you do about it?
Legally nothing. Right? Like if I take a picture of you, it depends upon, again, context to a degree. Right? Like,
it's non-spicy, so it's maybe you have your fist and you put it in your mouth. Because like it's embarrassing for you.
Yeah,
okay. Nothing you can
Nothing
do about it except potentially, end that friendship.
Yeah. In Canada, we have what's called one-party consent, which just means if I have the phone and I want to take a picture of Brandon and Brandon says no, I'm giving myself consent. Take a picture. I now own that picture. I can do whatever it was I want. You have no right to it.
Only thing would be if if a photo was taken during school hours and you have a school policy, that friend or maybe, former friend of yours could be dealt with under your school policy or your school act.
If it was taken during school hours.
But that's more of like a civil matter, not really a police matter. Yeah. But although your school may not be able to force that person to delete it, they could still seek consequences.
Under the school act.
Yeah. So context, but it's not a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Can other people see your private conversations on Roblox? Well, obviously, if you're in a group chat, everyone can see that, who's in the group chat. But no, only people who can see those messages are anyone who has access to the Roblox servers. I mean, the messages are not encrypted. So it's all there in their system, which means their employees can look at it. If their police want to do an investigation, they have a warrant, they could do that as well.
And just know that anybody in your friend group can easily screen capture what it is you're saying and then posting it publicly as well, right? So again, just because you're in private conversation, never believe that what you're sharing is going to stay private. Like if we had a nickel for every time we've helped a teen and an adult deal with that issue, we'd be rich. So
is Siri safe to use when asking personal or sensitive questions? Think of Siri as just like Google. Any query you put into Siri, that your voice is turned into text, and that text is sent to the Apple servers, and then Siri basically gives you an answer. So, do you trust Apple servers more than Google servers versus OpenAI ChatGPT? Maybe, maybe not, but don't think Siri is private.
All right. And just understand that whatever questions you're asking in Siri, they could form a part of your digital dossier within the Apple ecosystem, right? Like they're now starting to learn a little bit more about you.
But then again, I would probably trust Apple more than other companies.
But just understand that can happen, right?
Honestly, just don't use Siri. Like, here's the thing. Siri is kind of as smart right now as a bag of bricks. Honestly, Siri was first to the market. Like they were the first kind of AI personal helper. But right now, Apple is behind the times right now.
Didn't they just sign a deal with Google? Or was it Google or OpenAI?
Google Gemini. They're going to train Siri on Google Gemini's data. So Siri can basically become smarter by basically cheating off their friends' homework.
Exactly.
I think it was like $1 billion deal. cheating off their friends. I don't use Siri a whole lot because it doesn't really do a whole lot anymore.
Yeah, the only time I use it is, like I'm arranging an interview with somebody in Nairobi in Africa right now. So I'll go, hey Siri, what time is it in Nairobi? So it gives me, lets me know what time. That's where I'll use it on little things like that. So, or Siri, what song is playing, right? So,
although Siri now, you can connect to ChatGPT.
Yeah, I know.
If you pay for ChatGPT Pro, you can actually connect Siri, so Siri can do a ChatGPT search for you.
Yeah, interesting.
Although just use ChatGPT right off the bat.
Exactly.
Like, remove the middleman, because Siri is not very smart. Should young people continue playing Roblox despite age verification bypasses and bad actors? What is your perspective? There are going to be bad people on any app or game that you choose to play. Unless you're playing a single player offline game, okay, then you're probably not going to experience that. Whatever game's most popular will have bad people on it. So, if you're using Roblox, following good safety standards, good privacy standards, then you're probably going to have a really great time.
It's all about risk management, right? Like, one of the things I say to parents, when you look at a lot of these kids that are getting themselves into trouble on Roblox and being exploited, it's because they're in open Roblox servers, right? And so
with no privacy controls.
None whatsoever. So one of the things that we say to parents is that, if you want to risk manage what's going on, create your own Roblox server. That way you control who comes in, who can connect. And so again, it comes down to risk management.
Yeah. I just view Roblox as like the internet, in that anyone can use it, anyone can post and share and make rooms on anything, right? Some places are good, some places are bad.
Yeah, for sure. But if it's open, then anybody can connect with your child, right?
Yep.
And because Roblox is so popular with teens, remember what I said earlier, whatever platform is popular with kids are going to be those who want to target them for online predation exploitation.
Is uBlock Origin a good and legal tool for blocking unsafe or malicious websites?
I've never heard of that.
uBlock Origin is an ad block tool.
Oh, okay.
So like YouTube, you get an ad, it blocks that, or you get those pop-ups going, hey, sign up for our newsletter. It's an advertising blocker. It works pretty well.
Is it free?
It's free.
Oh.
Of course, it does collect data on you.
That was my next question.
Yes.
If it's free, how do they make their money?
They do collect data on you. However, of course, you get the benefit of not having advertisements.
Gotcha.
So pros and cons. Actually, yeah, a lot of hackers and scammers, if they're building their own malicious website, they will use pop-ups to kind of entice you to click on things. And yeah, I guess I haven't thought of that, but I guess uBlock Origin could, in a way, block some of those malicious pop-ups. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but of course, it does collect information, so do keep that in mind. What are the legal rules around having spicy images of yourself when you were younger?
A lot of spicy questions this go around.
It's up in the air. Because when we're looking at, say, the millennial generation, which was the first generation to have flip phone cameras, and they took their own images, but now that person might be an adult, but it's their own underaged image. I have, at least in Canada, I have not yet seen a court case involving that.
No, and I would argue with you, if it's of yourself, probably not illegal, right? Now, where we get ourselves into a little question, and we talk about this on the presentation I do, is that you're dating when you're a teen. Pictures were shared in a private consensual relationship, not exploitive in nature. It's now 5 years later, you're now an adult and you're no longer together with that teen whose picture you were sent, but you now have that picture on your phone of that other person, and that person's under the age of 18, which now technically would make it child sexual abuse material, and you're no longer dating one another. You know, is that illegal? Well, we spoke to Defense Counsel and Crown, and they all said, we have no case law on that. However, what they recommended is delete it.
Legal scholars have different opinions on the matter, but it has not yet been tested.
Yeah, so why become what we call case law? Right?
Yeah.
That has your name attached to it.
Yeah.
So we recommend delete it. Like if you're no longer dating, then just delete the picture, especially if it's somebody under the age of 18.
What kind of tools or training does the White Hatter use for investigations and education?
Well, I've got 7 different certifications. You've got a couple, right?
Yeah.
So.
I went to school and I focused my education, MA degree on investigations. You have your experience in law enforcement.
And 7 different programs on how to conduct online investigations.
Yeah, there isn't really like a set curriculum or path to become and do what we do. We bring our experiences and we're constantly learning, listening to other experts, getting involved in conversations. It's a continual process of education, tools, and training. And there are things that we lack that we consistently try to build upon. Yeah. Can AI be a positive tool for school projects and learning?
Simple answer. Yes.
It can be.
Yes. It's how it's used that is important, right?
What should I do if someone at school asks me to send an intimate image?
Yeah, we get this a lot where, send me a nude, send me a nude, send me a nude, send me a nude, right? Well, if somebody says, send me a nude, and you say no back, and then they say, send me a nude, and they keep doing that, well, that's illegal under the criminal code, right? That's something that you can report, and it can be dealt with accordingly. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean the other person's going to get arrested, but I can pretty well guarantee you that if reported, the police are going to go knocking on their door and go, you better stop, because if you do it again, then you will be arrested.
Do you actively look for online predators, or is that handled by law enforcement?
Yeah, we don't actively look for them. The only time that we do get involved is if we're connected by a client who needs some help, maybe to put something together to then take to law enforcement, who will then proceed from there, usually by way of search warrants, which we don't have the authority to do anymore now that I'm retired. So it's not as if we're out there looking for them. So we're not like creep catchers. That's a good example, right? Like, no, we don't do that. Where we do get involved is when a client connects with us, be it a teen or adult who's being targeted online, and we do some of the background, and then we provide them with a package that they can take to law enforcement, so that law enforcement can now take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Can people be scammed through video games or gaming platforms? Not a whole lot. A lot of gaming platforms have a lot of restrictions on sending messages to other people. However, yes, hackers and scammers will use gaming platforms to say, hey, I'm going to send you a link, or what's your email, what's your Snap, and they'll want to try to off-platform you onto a different platform, and where they have a lot more flexibility to send you malicious links or trick you or scam you.
Or, I mean, a good example, sending a link for, reduced V-Bucks, right? And stuff like that, right? And online gaming platforms. So
Yeah. Online gaming platforms are usually the way people will connect to someone to then scam them elsewhere.
I love this next question because it's one that we answer in our high school presentation.
Is it legal to make money selling feet pictures?
Not if they're my feet pictures.
That's a criminal offense for you. Oh boy.
The simple answer to that question is context is everything, but in most cases, no. Now, if the feet pictures are sexualized in any way, well, then still likely not illegal for the person who's selling them. Again, context is everything. But the person who's purchasing them for sexual reasons may be illegal for them, right? That's kind of the... if somebody's just asking you to send feet pictures, because there's a number of sites in Canada and around the world where you can make money by selling your feet pictures, right? Like some people have this, this
interest.
Yeah, interest in people's feet, right? This fixation on it, right? So, but is it illegal to make money selling them? No. But
pay your taxes.
That's the next question. But what a lot of people don't know, and we checked with Revenue Canada on this because it was shared to us by our accountant, said, oh, by the way, Darren, I see what you do. Did you know? If you're making any kind of money online, no matter what it is you're doing, right? You're an influencer, selling feet pictures, selling nudes, whatever it is you're doing. If you don't report that income to Revenue Canada and somebody now drops the dime on you and lets them know that you're going to be making all this money, you're going to get a knock at your door saying, Revenue Canada, we want our cut, right? And trust me when I say I would rather have the police coming after me than Revenue Canada coming after me. So a lot of people don't know that. So if you are selling feet pictures, probably not illegal in Canada. Context is everything. But if you're not reporting what you're making, you could get yourself into trouble from other organizations, government entities like Revenue Canada.
How can you set boundaries when someone sends you a message that make you feel uncomfortable?
Let them know.
Yeah. And maybe consider, is that a person you want to have in your life? Blocking, removing, and deleting is totally reasonable.
I think one of the things I say to people, we're not mind readers, right? So if somebody sends you a message and it feels uncomfortable, then you reply, hey, just to let you know, Brandon, that message you sent me was just uncomfortable and please don't do that again. Right? And then if they don't acknowledge that, or if they don't respect that and they do it again, block and delete.
Yep. Why are teens not allowed to send intimate images, even consensually, in the United States of America? It depends on the state you live in.
Yeah, that's true.
Some states you can, some states you can't.
Yeah, like Washington is a little bit more liberal, much more Canadian-like, whereas other states, it's illegal. Like it is illegal. It is a felony, even if it's consensually sent.
Yeah, so it depends. And then, if you're crossing state lines, that's a whole other challenge.
And that's the thing that we say to Canadian teens, right? Like if in Canada, if you're a teen under the age of 18, if it's done within a private relationship, consensually, not exploitive in nature, not illegal. But let's say you're traveling to the United States with your family. You got your phone with you. You hit the U.S. border. They have the right to search devices, which they're all
especially
doing now. Right? Which they're all doing now. And all of a sudden they're scrolling through your pictures and they see a nude that appears to be of somebody under the age of 18, although it was legal in Canada. As soon as you hit the U.S. border, U.S. law applies. And now that's a felony.
Even if you have a meme of a politician on your phone, you could be denied entry now.
I know.
I mean, that's a case.
Did you see, you have to now, if you're traveling to the United States, even from Canada, you need to supply them with all your social media, all your email.
No, not Canada. I don't think it was Canada.
Oh, I think it is.
Not Canada.
Oh, I think it is.
No, I don't think it was Canada.
Think it is.
No.
We'll look into that. I think it is.
No, not that.
All right.
That's if you're making a visa application, because some countries to travel, because we have a trade agreement. So the trade agreement makes
it. For now.
Well, today, this year is being renewed. We'll see. No, the trade agreement exempts for that. But other countries, yeah. Traveling digital laws are very challenging. What should someone do if they receive an online threat? do an assessment and determine, okay, if this is a random person,
First thing, screen capture it.
well, it depends on the type of threat, right? There's a lot of empty, meaningless threats on
But I
the
still
internet.
think you should screen capture it just in case, right? Like if you see it to be a threat, just screen capture it first,
Okay.
and then make the assumption. Because if all of a sudden you don't screen capture it, it could all of a sudden disappear, right? At least you have it just in case. That's just what I say.
Depends, I would think, on the level of threat. Because if you were to do that with every threat, like if I'm playing Call of Duty, the amount of threats you're going to get in the voice chat.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like,
I see.
right? So you have to do an assessment going, okay, is this just some troll on the internet who you're never going to catch, who's never going to get investigated?
Machiavellian in nature.
Block, remove, delete. If the threat is more sensitive, more personal, more direct, more actually like it's more of a legitimate actual threat compared to trash talk on Call of Duty, handle that differently.
Yeah.
So yes, then recording it and reporting it. Yes. Yeah. Is the government working on laws for AI-generated images and videos, such as making them have watermarks?
So here in Canada, there's presently legislation before Parliament where they're discussing deepfake videos and nudes to make it an actual criminal offense. There's lots of discussion taking place on countries around the world about, okay, how are we dealing with all this AI slop that's happening, to differentiate it between real and being AI generated. Because, I just read an article today saying that the next federal election here in Canada, they expect that state actors and other people are going to be using AI to try to influence. So but there needs to be agreement with every country for this to happen, because if there's one country that disagrees, well, then they don't have to watermark it, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
So there are discussions. I know in Canada specifically to deepfake nudes, there's legislation before Parliament. I expect it's going to be approved before the end of the year. But on the issue of watermarking or making, any kind of AI generated image somehow identifiable as AI, there's discussions, but we'll see where that
Not
goes.
enforceable. Good luck.
Yeah, it's
because
gonna
there
be
are
interesting.
servers that Canada can't control.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Instagram accounts posting fight videos, and where do you see this trend going?
Yeah, it's just understand that depending upon the video and what's in the video, are you the one that took the video? I mean, I talk about this at the high school level on one of our programs now that, if there's a school fight going on and you're recording that school fight, not illegal for you to do that, right? One party consent. However, if it's brought to the attention of law enforcement, you now become a witness, which means that your phone could potentially be seized. It could be dumped for evidence. You could also be subpoenaed to go to court to give testimony, which you're not likely going to want to do. So there are all kinds of issues about, posting these school fights that are taking place. So.
Mm-hmm. Can game chats be monitored or accessed by others? Typically the game company who runs the game can see all the messages, and then if law enforcement want to take a look through a warrant, they can do that as well. So most games do not have end-to-end encryption chats. So typically, not like it's public to everyone on the internet, but some people can see that and investigate it. Ooh, question for you. What was your favorite part of being a police officer?
Let's see. I've been retired for almost 10 years now. It's hard to believe that.
10 years, wow.
Yeah, I know. My favorite part was just interacting with people, right? Like I'm a people person. And so people watching and just interacting with people, that was my favorite part about policing, right? Was just being able to interact with a whole diverse community of individuals and trying to help them as best as I can, with the understanding that we can't help anybody. Or can't help.
Well,
we can't help everybody, but we try to do as best as we can.
Yeah.
So,
how do you feel about forming friendships online? Like,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. There's different levels of friendships.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a friend you have in person is probably going to be a more significant friendship than those online. But
I mean, there's online friendships that have led to marriage,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's online friendships that have led to jobs. There's online friendships that have led to bad things happening as well, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
meeting a person online, you want to have the same safety as if you're meeting a random person in a park, right? Like, how do you know the person in the park is a good person or a bad person? You don't. How do you know someone online is a good person or a bad person? You don't. But when you're meeting people and building friendships, you don't just instantly trust with everything the first person you meet.
I mean, I can't tell you how many friends I've made online, especially professional friends, right?
Yeah.
I've never, ever, the only reason I was able to connect with them because I met them online and we formed a friendship. We formed a relationship first, right? A professional relationship. And then that professional relationship turned into a friendship, right? So
are platforms like Instagram or Snapchat at risk of being banned? Probably not. They're well established. There's a lot of business and economy that evolves around those apps. So I don't think they will get. There might be age limits.
Yeah, that's where I think that's what that question would probably, because Canada right now there's a big push to ban age gate, Snapchat, TikTok, Discord, all the big players, right?
All your friends will move to a different app. Use the different app, right? Yeah. If you can't talk to your friends on Snap because there's an age ban, use a different app.
So the honest answer to that question is yes, there is a risk. There is some discussions on that taking place. We're hoping that the Canadian government takes a different tact, one that we believe in, that we're really pushing hard, specifically to, rather than targeting the teen as an age, let's target the actual platforms themselves, right? So, I mean, it's interesting that a lot of these social media platforms aren't ringing the bell and making lots and lots of noise about these age gates. Why? Because, yeah, they push back a little bit, but not a lot. Why? Because they can still do what it is that they want to do, right? Because we're not targeting their business plans whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
they can take the financial hit of not data mining for a few years, and then when someone hits the age of 16, now they sign up, now they data mine.
Yeah, that's something I just. And nobody has a comeback to me where I say, I'm 15 today, so I can't go on Snapchat, but tomorrow's my birthday, I'm 16. Now all of a sudden I can go on. So please tell me, what's the difference between me yesterday and me today?
I think it's the assumption that you should be smarter to not be
exploited. Again, that's going to be differ from teen to teen. Like, again, I know some 19-year-olds who've been exploited online and 13s who aren't, right? Like, again, it's I keep saying it should be left up to the individual family and to make that decision, right? Like, because your child best. Now, should certain platforms be age gated, like porn and alcohol and drugs? Corn. Well, no, this is our own.
No, we're on YouTube.
Oh, sorry, corn. Yeah, absolutely, right. But it's anyways. It's this whole age gating thing. There's this contagion effect. Right, that Australia did it. Now everybody's going, "Oh, Australia did it. Let's everybody else." Because
not very well, though.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's still too soon, right? Like, they're doing the right thing. They're going to study it for 2 to 3 years. But what's interesting is everybody else is now hopping on board, not understanding some of the consequences of what's happening, right? And we've experienced some of those consequences already, dealing with some teens, right? So, again, we're not big believers in the age gating platform, that it's going to protect the kids the way that people think it's going to protect our kids, right? It's
delaying the inevitable.
And the reality is they're just going to move to a different platform. And now that social AI is becoming more these age gating bans don't deal with social AI, and AI is being built into everything now, right? Yeah. So again, we're not big believers in the age gate.
Or people will use decentralized apps.
Yeah.
So, is it true that intelligence agencies, spies, have built-in access to computer chips? Honestly, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't have an in with the 3-letter spy agencies that exist.
Would common sense say, yeah? Yeah, common sense would tell you that maybe some of these countries that are selling stuff, maybe putting something in there.
What we saw in the mid-2000s with things like the Patriot Act, I mean, we saw the amount of power governments can have. So would they have full, complete access, like root access? Maybe not. Honestly, it's fun to think.
That's and what's concerning to me now is the sale and purchase of TikTok. Right, by those 3 big companies right now, and the amount of data that they're collecting.
Intelligence agencies the North America ones have more access to TikTok now, and a lot more data being collected on TikTok. Yeah. Funny enough how that worked. Hey, why don't more people use anonymous or alternative accounts online?
Good question.
I think it's sometimes it's labor intensive.
Yeah, good.
Some apps you can switch accounts.
Yeah.
Some apps you have to log out, log in, username and password.
Yeah, like Instagram with a Finstagram accounts.
Right? Yeah, Instagram. You can have multiple accounts assigned to your app. You can easily switch.
Yeah.
But like and TikTok when it first launched didn't, but now you can swap pretty easily. It's what someone's doing and how much labor and work they want to put in to actually maintain that. Why don't? Because it can be annoying at times. It's not worth it to some people to do that. What is the most difficult case you have worked on?
Here at the White Hatter, from a White Hatter standpoint, it's often human trafficking. I remember of a case that where we were able to help a family whose foster child was being targeted by commonly known as a pimp, and they went to the police. Police said there wasn't a lot they could do. They connected with us. We started our online searching. Took us a little while, but quickly we were able to put a package together. They took it to the RCMP. RCMP looked at it and went, ooh, got a search warrant. As a result of that, 2 individuals arrested, convictions for not just human trafficking issues, but also drug issues and weapon issues. So that's kind of the type of investigations that can become tricky, especially today because they're now moving to more of the encrypted social media platforms and messaging platforms, right? Gone are the old days primarily where a lot of it was done on the open social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. They recognize that one of the ways to kind of deal with the enforcement side of things is move more to the encrypted side of things. So a little bit more tricky, but still we don't, I learned this when I was in policing. We used to say this all the time. We never catch the smart ones, right? We always catch the dumb ones. And the smart ones are learning from past mistakes. So it's becoming, being a law enforcement officer in today's online world is becoming much, much more challenging, right? There's no doubt about the time and effort that they have to put in to investigate these crimes, especially these online crimes.
Is the overall risk of online exploitation increasing? I think it's about this increasing in what sense? In that as the world population grows, there'll be more people who are going to be bad people. But in terms of percentage, no, I think the percentage is the same, but there is still more because there's more and more people.
But you know what has changed? I think, I remember, cut that out. I think what's interesting is I was listening to a human law enforcement program just recently, and from this agency, and just a very well-respected agency. And one of the things that they said is that, we've seen an increase in reports coming into law enforcement. But they also said, and this was also done by Stats Canada, that said that one of the reasons for the increase is because of the education that's taking place. We're getting more survivors reporting it to law enforcement, right? So, I mean,
and there's a lot more reporting tools now.
Correct, right? So, I think it was always there, but it was more kind of hidden, right?
Yeah.
Like it was really hidden. So it's always been there. So we're going to see an increase, but I think a lot of the increase we're seeing is because of the reporting. And I think that's because education and reporting is working.
Yep.
Right.
Why do people behave harmfully online? It's often referred to as a disinhibition effect, where if someone can't see your actual face, or it's a little harder to identify who you really actually are, people can have a bit more of a ability to do things they wouldn't normally do. It's like Halloween, someone is wearing a mask. People are more likely to do things out in public, a little more mischievous because who are you? I can't tell who you are because you have a mask. People have a different mindset when they're wearing a mask, which can lead them to do something more harmfully.
And some people do it just because they want the likes and follows.
That too.
Right? Like it or not, those types of pictures and videos, they garner more likes, they garner more follows. And as a result of that, and now, the other thing too is hate has become a type of employment now. It's created an industry that makes people who spew hate and harmful things online lots of money. So
or
it's
politically viable.
correct, right? So there's all kinds of reasons. There's no simple answer.
Or entertainment as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How do you know how hacking works at a high level? No, in our team, we're not high level expert hackers. No. We have the basic understandings to kind of see what they're doing and then convert that to then teach people how to prevent being hacked or scammed. Yeah. Now, do I understand the concepts? Yes, but I'm not a pro expert hacker in any way. Yeah. That's not our role. We contract and we work with people who kind of fill that role, but no, we can't be an expert in everything.
No. We're kind of like think of doctors. We're like a GP. We're like a family doctor where we have a good base on everything. But when you need all of a sudden a specialist to concentrate on one thing, what does the GP do? They send you to a specialist, right? We're kind of the GP.
Yeah.
Right?
We're like an air traffic controller. You know, which plane comes in and goes in what direction.
Yeah.
What is the safest messaging platform to use?
Safer.
Safer. It depends on what you're looking to protect against. Safer in regards to no government surveillance. Signal.
Telegram, Signal.
A safer in terms of being extorted or scammed. Which messaging platform is better for that?
Well, I mean, one of the things they say is, again, it depends. Like if you don't, the reality is when you're using like Messenger is a good example, which is owned by, or WhatsApp as well, it's being data mined.
Yep.
Right. So it may be encrypted, it may be private, but it's still being data mined. So if you're looking to protect your privacy, well then Telegram, Signal is the way to go. We know that a lot of the criminal element will use, and some U.S. politicians as well, will use Signal and Telegram because it's encrypted, it's secure, and they don't store any information.
Just don't add a journalist to your group chat.
You know, for younger, yeah, exactly. For younger kids, Kinsu Messenger, right?
Yep.
Right. Kinsu Messenger is a messaging that is specifically designed for youth and parents with safety by design, right? And they don't data mine any of the information and sell it to anybody. So again, it just comes down to what it is that you're looking for.
Is there a way to limit or turn off AI features on platforms? Only if the platform allows you to.
Good example. I sent you something just recently for tomorrow or next week's show where Firefox has just announced that they now have the ability to turn AI on or turn AI out. They're leaving it up to you.
Yeah, the new CEO said everything's going to be AI, and people were against it. Yeah, and that's why they made the pivot.
Yeah, so it's I actually applaud them on that, right? Because one of the, you go into Google, every Google product has got Gemini built into it. Like you can't get rid of it, right? Well, maybe there's a time where for whatever reason you don't want to do that. So that's why I like Firefox, because they're going to give you the ability to turn it on or turn it off, right? And they're going to be able to integrate with all the big players, be it OpenAI, be it Meta, whatever it is, right? So I kind of applaud them. I like that idea. Again, it gives you options. It allows you to control what it is that you're doing online and who has access. So I like that.
Mm-hmm. What options exist if there is no evidence of online harm? So like someone does something bad to you, but you can't prove it. Honestly, not every issue has a solution. No. But in that situation, you probably want to block and delete the person who might be causing harm. If you Now, again, I'm going to kind of assign this to sextortion, right? So, or news. So, although there may not be any criminal options available because of lack of evidence, there could still be civil repercussions. So here in the province of British Columbia, we have the Intimate Image Protection Act, right? Sure. Where there's still other things that can be done. But the reality is that if there's not enough evidence there to support a charge, then there's nothing the police or the Crown or the courts are going to be able to do. Knowing it and proving it are two different things in criminal law, right? Civil law, a little different. Yep, fair. Can hackers access your device to capture photos or audio? Difficult for that to randomly happen, usually
10 years ago, not so much, or it was more likely 10 years ago.
Yeah, actually, probably more like 15 years ago now.
Okay.
But nowadays, they're going to have to trick you into downloading and installing a program that has a virus in it in order for that to work. Difficult to randomly hack someone out of no reason anywhere. It's challenging. Yeah. How do you understand and study how online exploitation networks operate?
I love this quote. One of my favorite quotes. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, which is an ancient text written by a very famous Chinese general who said, "Know thy enemy and you'll win 1,000 battles." And so one of the things that I do personally is I go into spaces where these guys will talk to one another about what they're doing, how they're doing it, what tricks they're using, how they're selling things. Because if we can understand that, then we can create counter tactics.
Yep.
And we also follow, or I do, I follow court cases very, very closely, because one of the cool things in court cases is a lot about how the exploitation actually took place is disclosed within the court. And that disclosure now becomes public. So that's another way that we will use to learn about how these guys are operating and what they're doing.
And people ask us for help and advice all the time. So we're also learning the end of that in terms of what someone did to trick someone. And then when they come asking for help, we can now take that information and also apply that as well.
Correct.
So we take information from all these sources.
Right. For sure.
To learn about how these networks operate.
And it's changing consistently, right? Like it's amazing how fast things are changing. And then you throw AI into the equation, right?
Yeah. Can scammers and cappers find your physical location?
Yeah, they can. So a good example is that that I mentioned earlier. We helped a teen girl who was selling nudes online. So she was sugaring, as a good example, selling nudes for profit. She thought she was doing everything right to protect herself. She didn't. This person was able to figure out where she lived. A couple of days later, that person came knocking at the door. Mom and dad answer the door. There's this guy going, "Hey, is Cindy home?" And it turned out that it was this individual, right? So yes, it can happen.
Yeah. If someone has the attention and the motivation to target someone, you can collect a lot of information.
Yeah, especially during that grooming process, right? Where you're breaking down the barriers and learning more about the individual. You can all use that. I mean, that's why human traffickers, that's what they use to their advantage, right? Is they're collecting as much information as they can, the building process, that grooming process, to build that rapport. And then when the time is right, they dig the talons in, knowing that the young person can no longer escape, right? For fear of shame, embarrassment, all those things, right?
Yeah. What happens if someone shares an intimate image of themselves on Omegle or other similar platforms? Typically, a person on the other end who's trying to encourage someone to do that usually has their screen capture ready to go snap so that they can use it. Either they'll keep it, they could try to sell it. Sometimes they'll come back to the person and try to extort them for money. Anything you show or share in a live stream, be it in a private chat or even a public group chat, can be copied and used and shared.
What's interesting is, just thinking about that from a legal perspective, in Canada, we know if it's a teen under the age of 18, a private consensual relationship, and it was non-exploitive in nature, well, we could argue, I think we could argue, that if you're doing it on Omegle, is that really a relationship? And was it a consensual, and was it not exploitative in nature? Because we know that Omegle can be extremely exploitive. So because of that fact, I think personally, there is a risk to a teen who is sharing a nude on Omegle or a similar platform like that, of potentially facing a charge of the production and distribution of child sexual abuse material.
I don't think so. I don't think any.
I think there's an argument that could be made. I'm not saying that would happen, but when you look at what the Supreme Court said about, and again, we got to look at the spirit of the law and what it was designed for. That Supreme Court decision, the spirit of the law was two teens in a relationship. Basically, that's what it is. I would argue with you that this is not within the spirit of that law. right? They're sharing a nude for whatever reason on Omegle to some stranger, because that's what Omegle is all about. It's not about relationships.
If the stranger was the aggressor or a groomer, and in that situation, that power imbalance, then it wouldn't necessarily be the teen who would be charged. It would be the other person.
I think there's an argument to be made.
I guess it depends on who initiated it.
Yeah.
Right? If the teen initiated it, then it's like if a teen takes their own nude and then sends it to all their friends at school. Clearly you can't be doing that. But
so what's the difference?
But if someone from their school is now forcing that teen to do that, it's not the teen who's the one that's in trouble.
No,
it's the one. Context.
Right.
If that situation, if the other person is the one encouraging and making that happen, then it wouldn't be. If a teen is going on Omegle with the purpose and intention of just showing all their stuff.
Like I've seen this on Omegle and some of the other platforms as well, where all of a sudden you'll get a teen, and maybe it's a teen girl, and she goes, whoop, not even asked. Just they all of a sudden click camera to move between like a carousel, right?
Yeah.
Click, engage a new, and then all of a sudden there's a teen. Usually the face is being hidden halfway, so you can't see the full face. And all of a sudden you go, whoop, and there's a breast, right? Where they just doing it just to get a reaction.
Yeah,
right?
that I can definitely see.
I think that falls outside.
I don't think they have much protection.
No, absolutely not. Right. So I think there's an argument to be made. Context.
Yeah. What's the best way to tell whether an image or a video or audio clip is generated by AI or not?
You can't. See,
challenging today.
It's a year and a half ago we would say, okay, look for the stutters, look for incoherent or incongruent eye blinking, but Sora and Gemini, they've overcome that now, right? So, there's other things that presently that we're teaching people to do, which is if you're streaming with somebody live, you think it's real, have them draw a picture on a piece of paper with a pen or pencil and then show you. Like AI currently has troubles doing that. Now, the way that AI is developing, that could change within the next week, right? So, so that's one way. And another way is one of the ones that I kind of like, that one of the experts that I was talking to said what he does is, if the person's using a webcam on their computer, if they have their cell phone with them, have them open up their phone and have them point the camera towards their face so that their screen is pointing towards the camera that they're using to stream to you. And if the face on the phone is not the same face that you're seeing that you're streaming, well, they're using a deep fake. I kind of like that, right?
Good idea.
So, another one, but I think this one's going to go by the way of the dodo bird pretty quickly, is the mouth and tongue test, where you have them open up their mouth as wide as they can, lift their tongue up, down, and then side to side. So AI still has a challenge doing that smoothly. I think that's gonna go by the way of the dodo bird very quickly, but it's becoming really hard, right? And so that's why I say, if you're meeting somebody for the first time online and things are getting a little spicy, be very careful about engaging in any kind of sexual behavior, because you just don't know. You may think you're talking to a 16-year-old from California when in fact it's a 55-year-old male from the Ivory Coast of Africa with no front teeth trying to cap you online for the purposes of sextortion.
Well, those were the top questions we didn't get time to answer when we were broadcasting.
Great questions.
And visiting schools.
Right? Like, I just think that these questions, once again, emphasize the fact that these kids aren't zombies, right? These automatons that a lot of adults think that these kids just aren't using look at these questions. These questions are well thought out. And they're critical thinking questions. The kids are asking these questions. So they're thinking about this stuff, which I think is really important for us as adults to not forget, right? So
thank you all so much. And we'll answer more questions as they pop in. Have a great day.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye for now.